So now we will talk about costs. Are obviously costs क्या होती है that whenever you're producing something you have to pay for the land, labor, capital, enterprise for it. And जब ये factors of production use होते हैं तो you produce a good. So तुम्हारे cost के अंदर जो दो major costs हैं जो तुमको पता होनी चाहिए, एक है fixed cost. Fixed cost क्या होती है? Fixed cost, by definition, you're going to say that fixed costs, FC is what we use for it. Fixed costs are those that do not change with the level of output. For example, you should know at least two examples of these fixed cost key. So one could be something as simple as rent. Okay, if I have a showroom, if I have a restaurant, whether I produce anything or not, I have to pay the rent. या फिर interest payment. If I have taken a loan, I have to pay the interest whether I produce anything on it or not. Okay, so ये दो examples मैंने दे दी, rent and interest rate. Now इसको आइडेंटिफाई करने का तरीका ये होता है, एग्जाम्पल रेंट इज ₹20,000 for a restaurant. Now whether they produce zero burgers or 100 burgers, they have to pay ₹20,000. This is what we mean that it does not change with the level of output. ये हमारी पहली cost हो जाती है. In comparison to this, our second cost is called the variable cost. Like the name suggests, variable, that means that variable costs are those that changes with the level of output. It changes with the level of output. Like, for example, raw material, or sometimes they even call like wages और salaries में फ़र्क है. Salaries are paid on a monthly basis, wages are paid on daily wages. तो होता ये है कि if you are doing production, you will have to buy raw material and pay for the labor. But if you're not doing production, then you can actually don't have the labor. Don't call them. Just tell them for X number of जब तक order नहीं आता, we're not producing anything, so we don't need you. तो उसकी वजह से the labor can be variable cost. Usually the way labor cost works, yeah, variable cost works is that variable cost is zero when output is zero, okay, and it rises with the level of output. Now if you add both your fixed costs, well, in fact your total fixed costs with total variable cost, your business will have its total cost, okay, and it will include both the fixed and the variable in it, okay. Let me give you an example. Let's make this table and show it. Imagine a table is given: output, fixed cost, variable cost, and total cost. ठीक हो गया? So let's say output goes like 0, 5, 10, 15. Let me just put 20 also here. And we don't have fixed cost, but we have some variable costs like 0, 25, 40, 50, 70. ठीक है? And we've been given some total costs. Total costs like, say, 20, 45, 65, 70, 95. So the question is, what is the fixed cost here? For the third one, the total cost, I've written 65. That's an error. It cannot be 65. It should be 60, because what we know about fixed cost is that it should not change. So at zero output, if your total cost is 20, variable cost is 0, so obviously all of it is fixed cost, and fixed cost does not change with the level of output. So again over here, in fact, even I've written 95, so that's just not possible. I have to fix it, and it should be 90. I want to make a graph for it, okay, and I want to see how it looks like. So what I'll do is I'm just going to roughly try and draw an accurate diagram, and I'll just tell you the shape that it would look like, okay. On the y-axis I have costs, on the x-axis I have quantity, ठीक है. So the way this diagram is going to look like, if I was to plot it, इक्वल डिस्टेंसेस के ऊपर लेट मी ट्राई एंड mark it. That's my 5, 10, 15, 20, 0. And we're going up to 90.
So जो quantity है वो output है.
Yeah, right. So I have labeled the costs on the y-axis and the quantities on the x-axis. My fixed cost, I'll make it with green color, and I can see at every level of output the fixed cost does not change. So when I plot for it, this is how the fixed cost looks like. This is my total fixed cost. This is how it looks, a straight line. Okay, my variable cost 0 पर 0 है, 5 पर it's 25. Try to do it as accurately as I can. 10 के ऊपर it's 40, 15 के ऊपर it's 50, and at 20 level of output it is somewhere at 70. So when you're drawing it, roughly just make your shape go like this. Okay, first it's going to increase at a decreasing rate, and then it's going to increase at an increasing rate. This is how total variable cost looks like. In your school and in some books, you probably have done something which looks like this, a straight line for a variable cost. Even that's an acceptable one, but this is a nicer, complicated one which will go with you till your A2 levels also. So you make sure that you know how this one is done. फिर उसके बाद इसका जब हम टोटल कॉस्ट का बनाते हैं तो वेरिएबल कॉस्ट में हमने 2020 ऐड करना है. तो व्हाट दैट मीन्स इज दैट योर कर्व ओवर हियर इज जस्ट गोइंग टू जंप अप बाय 20 की कॉस्ट. Okay, it's just going to jump up at every level. It's just going to go up like this, and it's going to move up in a parallel way. And when you're going to draw it, it will look like कि हमने variable cost को ऊपर की तरफ jump कर दिया है. The reason why this is happening is because ये जो हमारा total fixed cost है और यहाँ जो गैप आना चाहिए वो exactly same होगा obviously, because total cost में से variable minus करोगे तो fixed ही बचता है, isn't it?